Good morning, everyone. I am your host, Olivia Cohen, coming in live from Studio B here at the Hebrew Home, and this is Good Morning Hebrew Home. Today is Monday, June 28th, and the time is 10:30 a.m. We have a great show planned for you today. A little later, we have a short animated clip that somebody had created after they experienced grief and loss during this pandemic time, and was able to creatively use that to create a beautiful story. So we'll show that a little bit later. But first, let's take a look at the weather in our neck of the woods. Today will be mostly cloudy skies early, and then partly cloudy this afternoon. It's gonna be hot. It'll be high 92 degrees Fahrenheit. So there is a heat advisory. Moji, our Vice President of Nursing, has sent out a heat advisory for the next couple of days. So please make sure that you are staying nice and cool. If you do go outside, do not stay outside for all day. Make sure you're staying super hydrated. I know that we have such beautiful grounds here, but it can be very deceiving if you're outside for too long. So make sure you're staying hydrated and you're staying nice and cool. And if needed, we have lots of things happening inside, indoors this summer, so please feel free to take advantage of all those things that we're doing in the nice air-conditioned places here. I'll tell you about that later. Let's move to this day in history, June 28th, all the way to 1820. I thought this was cute. The tomato is proven to be non-poisonous by Colonel Robin Gibbon, who was eating a tomato on the steps of a courthouse in Salem, New Jersey. So that was the first day they found out tomatoes were non-poisonous. And also in 1838, it was the coronation of Queen Victoria in Westminster Abbey, London. So that happened. Let's move forward to 1928. Louis Armstrong makes a 78 recording of West End Blues. Then in 1951, I'm sure many of you remember this, Amos and Andy premieres on CBS TV. And then in 1969, this is Pride Month, and it all started with a police raid of the Stonewall Inn, a gay club located on New York City's Christopher Street, turns violent as patrons and local sympathizers begin rioting against the police. This was known as the Stonewall Riot. And as many people know, this weekend is the Pride Parade. So it all started with the riot, and now this whole month is celebrating Pride Month. So stay tuned. It's usually broadcast, I think, on Channel 2 this year, but I have to be correct and check in on that. Okay. National days. National Logistics Day. That's happening. A National Paul Bunyan Day. It's also National Insurance Awareness Day. It's also a National Alaska Day. So those were our national days today. And also I just remembered that this weekend is actually July 4th weekend, right? So Pride Parade actually was this weekend that just happened. So it was on Sunday that was broadcast. It's always the last Sunday of the month. So this weekend will be July 4th, actually. So that'll be another thing that's happening. So those are our national days. And then we have our resident birthdays for today. We have Carmen D, Raphael R, Laura Z, and Miriam J. So happy birthday. Staff birthdays, we have Grace from Nursing and Judith from Clinical Documentation and Reimbursement. Our famous birthday for today is Mel Brooks, who was born Melvin Kaminsky on June 28th, 1926 in New York City. He was known for, he directed and starred in films since 1963. His earlier work in media had taken him onto television and the theater. He won a Best Screenplay Oscar for 1968, The Producers. And his most popular and critically acclaimed movies are Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein, and his comedic work continued with The History of the World, Part 1, Spaceballs, and Robin Hood Men in Tights. So happy birthday to all. I don't have menus for today, I apologize, but we will be sure to get back with the menus for tomorrow. And our positive news story for today comes by way of the Good News Network. So a Portland man's adorable animated short about friendship, love, and getting through tough times is generating thousands of smiles. Born of grief when his nephew died unexpectedly, Steve Crowden spent most of 2020 working on the video during lockdown and now hopes to pitch it as a heartwarming series. After a family gathering to honor the nephew, Cowden's 22-year-old son, Trent, began spontaneously playing chords on the old piano. My twin brother, Scott, joined in with singing the words chocolate cake and ice cream. We had just eaten dessert, and he sang the silly words, I think, to lighten our hearts, Cowden told GNN. I was upstairs with my mom, and the tune was so sweet that I ran downstairs to be a part of the moment. We all sang in harmony together. It kind of felt magical and seemed to help us. It was just a jingle at the time, but it stuck with me. Chocolate cake and ice cream. Some things are just better together. After returning to Oregon, while commuting to work, he began singing it and adding more words. He pulled out his voice memo app and made some recordings. By the time he arrived at work, about a 40-minute drive, the song was complete, and he and Trent later recorded the final version using another old piano. He said, the song was so catchy, I almost immediately had the idea of making it into an animated short about a dog and cat. Cowden's cute animation includes a moment when the cat, in order to amuse the doggy in the window, dances the moonwalk across a fence top. The response has really been amazing. One woman told me she shared the video with her network of 400 families who have experienced the loss of a loved one. I'll always treasure these times forever, and whenever I see your smile, some things are better when they're together. So let's never say goodbye. Chocolate cake and ice cream. I hope we never part. Cowden has been an illustrator for 30 years, and in 2000 he did the art for a children's book entitled Cheese Louise. Since releasing the video, Steve has dreamed up additional characters and written more episodes than he hopes can be made into a series. So we will show that at the end of the show today. But before that, let's do some programming notes. As always, please feel free to give us a call. Any good news you've heard and would like to share on the show, you can do so by dialing 2813. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to leave us a comment, hit that like button, or hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. Remember to tune in to Channel 8 later today. We have What's the Story with Kate coming up at 11:15. We have Wellness with Deborah at 1:30. On our stream channel today at 4 o'clock, we have Dorot Presents Qigong. And at 6:30, you can catch this episode of Good Morning Hebrew Home again. Our in-person programs for today, we have 10 o'clock, which already happened, Wellness with Deborah took place in the Winter Garden. At 2 o'clock, we have Ceramics in the Art Studio. And at 2:30, we have in-person resident council in the Winter Garden. That's our show for today, everyone. Thank you for joining. Once again, this has been Olivia Cohen with Good Morning Hebrew Home. We will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, same channel. Enjoy the animated short. Cohen out.
These times forever, and whenever I see your smile, some things are better when they're together, so never say goodbye. Chocolate cake and ice cream, I hope we never part. Chocolate cake show it. Don't wanna go it alone. Chocolate cake and ice cream won't heal my broken heart.
We are going on a
Hebrew home, good morning, Hebrew home. My heart is where the Hebrew home is. For where the heart is, that's where you find the Hebrew home.